Well, it's been a great night of action here in Week 10 of the 70 Star League, I believe Season 3. And we are on our last race of the night between RockChalk and Wilko. I am not a Cola, almost just introduced myself by my real name out of habit. And I am joined by Electric. Electric, we've seen a lot of great races tonight. What are you expecting out of these last two runners?
Well, Wilko is known as a little bit more of a tailored strat professional. He tends to have dug a lot through the wiki and the lag library, trying to find the best optimizational mix for him of speed with consistency. RockChalk has been grinding a ton of 120, Wilko as well, but RockChalk's been focusing more on 120 than 70. And 120 is a very good grinding category for improving your general movement. And a lot of the stars from 70 are shared, of course, in 120. And he's improved a ton over that time. Both these guys are definitely at that upper top shelf level of runner. So it'll be interesting seeing how they're able to compete with each other. Wilko with a 3.6 record, Chalk with a 4.5 record. So just one win apart. RockChalk really looking to be in a similar position to Drogi, trying to get himself with that 5-win record to potentially even get all the way up into 4th place if Benji should lose next week. So
this match has monstrous effects on the playoffs. Wilko needs to win, and he's above the cut line, bopping Blue Bob down to 9th with a week to go. And that puts RockChalk in a precarious position where he's probably got to win next week. Although with the point differential, I believe if he wins here tonight, he has clinched his spot in the playoffs. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the math checks out.
I'm not totally sure, but we'll just have to see.
RockChalk, though, I think is 60 points per race, right? So
yeah,
if he wins, that puts him at 5-5. He has way more than 60 points over anyone else at 4-6, so that should put him in.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So.
Math major! A math degree finally paying off. In any event, we're expecting a great race from these guys. Both have sub 51 PBs. RockChalk has a 49.10, and Wilko has a 50.32, so both very talented runners. We have our resident psychic Appalachian Aiden with a Wilko 50.58 and a RockChalk 52.33. And both of these players pretty even in the standings as well, so I'm expecting a great match.
Yep, and we got both players ready in the back booth. Say hi to Frank with a couple Frankersies in the chat. RockChalk's dog just about always making an appearance.
Nice.
We got both players getting ready to go. English version all the way, of course.
All right, GLHF to both runners, and we are underway.
And this is a fully live race, so if the runners choose, we will be having post-race interviews afterwards.
Yep,
because
that last
else will we have post-race interviews?
Yep, that last race, of course, was pre-recorded. This one live and occurring in real time here on March the 23rd at 9:08 p.m. in real time. Of course, 23 other fake times. Looks like we're having a little technical difficulties with RockChalk's stream. Hopefully we get that sorted out as we're just on the intro that everyone knows and loves.
Yeah, he did say that his streaming has been a little bit weird. I think his internet is having a little bit of cutout issues. We'll have him back up as soon as possible for all of you.
Quickly splicing in some cheat prevention runs. Yeah. Wow, Wilko is so good, he briefly took over RockChalk's stream.
Wilko with a nice quick lock-to skip with a kick to the right, camera setup.
RockChalk furiously opening Adobe Premiere. In all seriousness, we hope that he regains his connection soon. Wilko, meanwhile, going to start as he essentially has no choice but to do in Bob on Battlefield.
Yeah, in 70 star without BLJs, you do have to get at least 1 star here. In races, you don't really see this strat, but you do see the occasional runner actually opt to... Okay, I didn't actually realize you can respawn the bomb that close there. Wilko showing off some
okay.
Yes, slamming right into the chain chomp there, especially when you miss the first attempt at bomb clip, he can really get in your way. But Wilko's almost dead, really only has 1 more shot left at this before he does take a death here. And, okay, Oh, not jumping with the bomb. Yet another respawn inevitable. Just losing a ton of time to this. Should have been done like about 30, 35 seconds ago.
There we go. We got RockChalk
on the
back.
slide.
As he obviously got bombed pretty quickly there. Looks like he's on his way to a 12-7.
Alright, so now Wilko going to be headed over to Princess's Secret slide.
Just grab. There we go. Now we're all synced up and ready to continue. As RockChalk takes a 2-1 lead here. Of course, racing to 70 stars, but time doesn't stop until you beat the Bowser.
Yep. Now, RockChalk already getting into Womps. Wilko, just a lot of bomb clip attempts behind, but even a stage like Womps could kind of help even the score a little bit with all of the little mistakes spiraling into big time losses pretty quickly.
And of course, we are so early into this run. We've seen countless times in this 70-star league that, you know, really anything and everything, there we go, can happen at any point in this run, even up until the very end. Earlier tonight, Heisenberger had a giant lead up until Bowser in the Sky fell off the very top, and that unfortunately cost him the race, as Benji took the dub there.
And it's very, very easy for that to happen ultimately. So,
yeah, especially if these guys go for double pillarless, which we just saw in the last race, caused a lot of issues. So, I mean, there's so many technical elements to this run. You're not super familiar to 70-star. No, there aren't any backwards long jumps, which are definitely one of the most finicky aspects of the game, but there's a lot of technicality required in this run, even without that.
All right, now RockChalk and Wilko both done with Owlus, they're done with Owlus. Wilko still has to do Canonless. RockChalk's done. Moving around on 100 coin, doing the full cycle, but not pro cycle movement. And RockChalk should be making the wooden platform cycle really nice and handily here. Yep.
Oh, really misses Canonless. He's gonna go for the backup.
Yeah, a little bit of time loss from Wilko, but still is going to be fine so long as he does get his second try here.
Yeah, that Canonless strat, certainly not perfect, but it's a lot better alternative to the old school method of just diving at the wall and resetting.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate that like it's hard to tell why it fails sometimes. And so it almost feels like it's still an RNG trick, but the RNG is a lot better than like you said, just kind of like running off the plank and diving into the wall.
Wilko gonna go for quick Canonless here, and that works. Okay, cool.
Nice.
Whatever works, right?
Even if it is the less consistent setup, I mean, you may as well. All right, so Wilko going to be playing with the big.
I've seen 16-star runs where over half of the run is trying to BLJ through the 50-star.
Yep, that's a decently common occurrence for new runners, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I saw somebody took like 5 or 6 hours on that trick once. Stuck with it, got it. Finished like a 7.5-hour 16-star run. That guy's my hero.
Jeez. All right, so nice 100 coin come out from Wilko. And meanwhile, RockChalk taking a bite out of Womp's block here. Or I'm sorry, a chip off Womp's block.
Well, I won't grovel or grovel.
Wow. Get out of my booth.
Okay.
You aren't welcome here anymore.
that better have got caught on the stream. Hopefully our restreamer friend is not running streamer mode and got me angrily leaving the call.
Oh, okay. Appellation saying LLL is going to be truly lethal in this race. 2 minutes apart, about just like the last prediction. Okay. Someone screen capped that again. I guess. I don't know. Nice top of the fortress from RockChalk here, finishing out the stage very nicely.
RockChalk with a nice lead. Really, I mean, both of these runners have been playing really solidly. Obviously, Wilko with the bomb misses and the cannonless miss, and that's ultimately what's been the difference in this run. Fortunately, a little bit of lag there for RockChalk, but he has mentioned that he's having some internet difficulties, so enjoy this nice PowerPoint presentation he's put together for us. I'm going to go 12-8.
I think 12-7.
No, that's a 12-8. That's earmarked for a 12-8. And I think it was a 12-8. Can't really tell. Actually, something cool I didn't realize until tonight. I hope Milo's okay with me mentioning this, but so in order to prevent these runners from, that's a 12-9. No, that's a 12-7. Dang. See, I usually go based off of like how well they hit that wall. Because if they hit it like dead on, it's usually a 12-7. If they get a little bit of a slide, it's usually a 12-8. But must have made up some time at the top of the slide.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of nuance to the slide star. Like, technically, the strat that runners use is supposed to be able to reach like a 12-3. But RTA, the best that has ever really been seen, like a couple of people have very, very rarely gotten a 12-4. And the best that I've ever seen in a GSA race is a 12-5.
Yeah, so with the 12-3 strat, you're coming in hot on that left wall, which loses some time because you have to go diagonally to the star, which is why you never see those in races.
Well, it's actually, if you see the task, like the task goes for the same RTA strat as you see for runners. Like, it doesn't do a different intro that would waste time on like the actual full star, but save time on the slide. Like the task does do like the full RTA time save strat. It ends up getting a 12-3 just from being fully optimized.
I see.
So it's just like to demonstrate like how, like, even though like top level runners have grinded the star like crazy, it does have a little inconsistency to it. There's definitely a nuance, and like you can lose time to just how exactly you dismount certain angles and like how high you're jumping in certain spots. Just a lot of like little areas to lose, just tiny fractions of frames sometimes.
Yeah, because like a 12-2 is just barely possible, I think. And Wilko takes a death off.
The Goomba in the worst place. The Goomba
Nice
just bullying him right off the stage. That is not in your name description. Like, I don't understand why that Goomba wanted to just be so harsh.
So RockChalk in good position here after a great Dark World.
Yeah, and it's just really unfortunate. Wilko just can't seem to take a break in lobby area. Like, he ended up just missing bomb clip a number of times. Got a decent lumps, of course, but then now Dark World with this, like, he really cannot catch a break. All right, so he's almost at the top of the slide, stair, whatever area now.
By the way, I did want to very briefly finish my story as RockChalk heads into Bob-omb. So in order to prevent these players from airing a old run, they actually have to press R a couple times at specific points just to prove that it's a live run. So obviously they don't know where they have to press R until they see the message, which is posted after they start their consoles. So it's a nice little way to make sure that this is a fair race for you guys and that nobody's trying to pull any fast ones on us.
Yep. And right there, what you saw was actually just a timer resync. Wilko's stream didn't go down or anything. The timer just got out of whack. They're now pretty well the same. Sorry, Wilko finishing up his Bowser fight. He, like I said earlier, he's taken some disadvantage in lobby with like two fairly big mistakes time-wise, but ultimately it's not over just yet. I mean, RockChalk, for all we know, could end up missing too many coins on Penguin Race and like lose a minute there, and Wilko would suddenly be ahead. Like,
yeah, there are definitely plenty of spots in this run where you could lose a minute or more. So, especially this early into the run, this is by no means over.
That's, I think, what makes like lobby and basement so like rage-inducing and so torturous sometimes is that like you can easily lose a minute to a number of stars involved in both stages, or at least like lose 20 seconds to something that should be free. And so it just like those areas can be really infuriating, just because sometimes it can feel impossible to get an actually decent run, even though you know you're capable of it.
Exactly. All right, let's see if Rock can get a good wall kicks will work here. And
Nice.
a perfectly synced star grab. You love to see it.
A saga of grass and water, I guess. Or grass and ice.
Ice. Well, if it's if the bob-ombs are exploding, it's a song of ice and fire.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, RockChalk getting started with CCM 17 here, so single plus incoming, not double. If I had to guess, Wilko's probably just going with single plus. He is a consistent enough player that I don't really see him going for double for no good reason.
Well, RockChalk, it does look like it's on the path of the double. Unless he has something else cooked up in mind. I suppose I've seen stranger things.
Yeah, but he is going to be grabbing the star right outside the exit here. So nicely done.
Meanwhile, Wilko taking some extra ground pounds there just to make sure the ground is nice and solid. And he's going to go up onto the slope, but a great recovery.
Yeah, nice backup there. That can be a little hard to pull off. Now, we'll have to see what Wilko decides here. This is the point of no return, really, as far as whether he'll do Penguin Race 100 or Slip Slide in 100.
Let's find out. He is going.
It's going to be like standard, CCM 18 route.
Pillarless, plus, whatever.
And that triple jump going into the volcano that way, it just feels so nice. You set your angle, but then as soon as you kick to start the jump, like you then shift over to like up, or in I think Wilko's case up left. All right, so RockChalk getting started with BBH. I think Boostar probably first, but let's see what he does inside. Yeah.
Yes, Jason, we are live here on the GSA Twitch stream. Unless you guys are watching this on our YouTube re-upload, in which case, hello, come watch us live 5 to either 10 or 11 tonight. We're finishing up at 10 just because we had to move a race to next week. Next week, 5 to 11 p.m. on Monday as RockChalk falls to the bottom. I don't know if that star's gonna I think because...
Okay, when the star spawns, it will stay spawned there. It's only if you fall while the boo fight is still happening that the boo completely restarts. But since the star did spawn, he will have the star up there.
I figured as much, but he is going to lose about 20 seconds here having to reclimb the tower.
Yeah, that's what's really frustrating is reclimbing the mansion takes so long.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, make sure you join us next Monday, 5 to 11 for the last week before the playoffs. Now,
Wilko just did miss like some coins in that line. I think he's got just enough, but there's no safety left.
I think he should be fine.
Okay, good. You want to see 85 before this last line here.
Yeah, and there's 7 right before that. So, he was good. That backwards long jump. That long jump heading back towards the slide is always risky because I've definitely seen a couple people. It's not often this happens, but I've seen a couple people bounce off the penguin, collect the star on the death floor, and they have to go back and do penguin race again.
Yup, that really mainly happens like if you long jump too quickly, and so the penguin just kind of like pushes you out of the way while you're like in the middle of the stargram animation. But like especially if you end up having an extra coin, that can end up being a problem because of how much earlier the star will spawn. And so then you have to do a very late long jump, which is easy to miss angle due to how the camera starts turning. Plus, like, of course, you have to use like a camera angle opposite to where you're even jumping to reduce lag. And we got Wilko with a bit of a stream issue, unfortunately, so he's going to be right back with his side. But RockChalk, fortunately, still going live and strong into double plus here. If you're not familiar, Pillarless is probably one of the glitchiest things that you will see in this run. It involves grabbing a bomb as it's exploding so that it has a bigger hitbox, which intersects with Mario's and thus gives Mario a bunch of speed, then re-grabbing the bomb in such a way that you actually are able to do ground pounds, double jumps, and other movement you shouldn't normally be able to, then finally flipping into the pyramid. So very, very nice first plus attempt from RockChalk here. Just a textbook Tama plus with maybe a little bit of fatigue on the ending, but overall pretty fine.
Looks like we are back with Wilko. Although he's a little bit ahead, so we're going to pause him and let RockChalk catch back up. Yeah, this is one of the most difficult tricks in this run. You can either choose to do it once or twice. Twice, obviously, much harder, but saves a little bit of time. Although RockChalk 2 for 2 does it beautifully.
Yeah, that was Tama plus both times. So part of the difficulty there is if you hit the control stick while Mario is in a regular ground state, while in that hands-free, like glitched bomb state, the bomb will actually blow up in your hands. You don't see that with Bomb Clip and VOB because you don't actually go into a hands-free state there. You just like grab the bomb with a glitched hitbox. So like because of that, you have to use times that like you're sliding up a slope or just in midair anyway in order to actually move the control stick and adjust your angle. And so the setup that RockChalk did for his regrab actually eliminated some of the time you slide up a slope, which gives you less time to actually like fix your angle when you do that setup, even though it does save time. It ends up making it harder because you relinquish an ability to fix some minor mistakes that you would normally have.
Looks like once again we've lost Wilko. We're going to try to get him back. Obviously, both runners having some internet connectivity issues.
These things happen when you have to conduct a league exclusively over the internet. It just, internet can't be reliable sometimes. But most of the time it is, at least.
And really, these runners are in two different parts of the world that I'm sure are blasting their internet because of certain things that are going on with the world right now. I'm sure right now is probably like record Netflix traffic. So, thanks, Merkel, being dropped in the chat.
Okay, so RockChalk getting started with LLL. Interestingly, starting with Bully Star. You don't normally see this as a first. Trying for ledge grab skip, but not quite working out.
Is there any particular reason why runner... Wow, we're back in perfect sync. Well done, Milo. Nice. Give it up for Milo, our restreamer here in the chat. He's been working overtime tonight and does such a great job getting this all set up for you guys. So give him some love in the chat, guys.
Okay, so it looks like Wilko had an issue with something because it looks like he's further behind than he was before.
But to real quick go back to the Bully Star, is there a particular reason why stars within a level are run in a certain order, or is it ultimately just runner preference?
It depends on the star in the stage. Some stages will actually spawn different elements with later stars. So like in DDD, you have to select a later star for the manta ray to spawn. In Whelm's Fortress, you have to select a star other than the first for the tower to spawn. And the
like
rule governing
whether with the snowman's head.
Yeah, so like the rule governing whether or not elements will spawn is you have to have completed all the stars before. So for DDD, for instance, the manta will not spawn until you've completed the sub-star and then gone back and selected chest in the current as your star. Even if you complete chest in the current and select it again from the menu, if you haven't completed Board Bowser's sub, the sub will still be there. So but like a stage like LLL, nothing new will ever spawn regardless of what star you select. So it really doesn't matter at all what order you do them in. And like in the case of CCM, if you do CCM 18, you do have to do Big Penguin Race last. But besides that, you can do it whatever order you want. There are stages like DDD where even though you could do chess in the current and the submarine star in whatever order, it's beneficial to do submarine star later because of how the loading zone moves. So if there is any matter of like very common preference, like you see a runner always will do a certain route no matter like what runner it is, that probably means that there's some sort of constraint that prevents it from being possible any other way to do that movement.
Well, thank you for that very thorough answer.
Right, RockChalk going on into the volcano now. My personal preference for LLL star order, I find that doing reds first makes a lot of sense because the text box that comes up typically will make you long jump a bit later than normal, and you already have to delay your long jump for that star anyway to do it correctly. So kind of makes sense to include the text box there. And then I like to do my volcano stars next, just to get them out of the way, especially like for a PB attempt. I'd like to get lava boost out of the way as early as possible. And then finally like red hot log rolling, and then finish up with the 2 bully stars.
Wow, what a great backup by Wilko there. Missed the lava boost. Managed to get a second bounce as he was falling, and he's going to get the elevator star.
Yeah, that's really nice spatial awareness from Wilko, being able to land right on that platform when he needed to. It's really easy to try for that backup and end up like hitting Mario against one of the sides of the platform or just passing up the platform entirely.
And just goes to show you the minutia, both with your description and with that backup, the minutia that goes into this game and into these runs. Like, yes, they're running the same game every time, but really between races, between stars, the strategy's constantly changing. You see RockChalk,
yeah, it takes
22 minutes going into dire docks.
It definitely takes a lot of time and a lot of energy spent into this game to be able to play it at this optimal level. And it's just because there's so much to think about at all times. You have to build a lot of this into your muscle memory so you're not having to actively focus like all the way through this run. RockChalk with some nice peaceful chest action real quick. What's my favorite star and why? Gosh, it would have to be, as far as in the 70 route, I think Wet Dry Roll 100 is really cool, as well as both of the Mountain Clip stars and TTM, the way that they're possible, I think is really, really unique. I mean, yeah.
Such
GTC 100 and Womps 100 are definitely honorable mentions. It's just they're both a little brutal with their time losses. Whereas Wet Dry World, it's RNG heavy, but its time losses are relatively consistent most of the time.
Maybe I might go Tall Mountain 100 because I really like the Tall Mountain slide, and obviously there's no reason to do it to get the Tall Mountain star.
That's fair.
Looks like we got Wilko back. Definitely my least favorite is Wing Mario over the rainbow.
Oh yeah, no, that star just can be forgotten about.
Yeah.
It's so like, it's just a masterclass exercise in flying, and it just comes across as just so slow and just awful. It's easy to lose time to, but not for good reasons.
I'm pretty sure that was the last star I got in my first 120 playthrough of the game.
And like what really sucks about that star is like they were really sadistic with their design choice of if you fall during that star, you get teleported out of the castle.
Which I definitely did many times in my first playthrough of the game. Looks like RockChalk missed a manta ray ring there, so now he's gonna have to deal with these janky hitboxes on the later rings, and that's causing him a lot of trouble.
He's already missed one there.
In case you guys don't know, these hitboxes after the first 6 don't work correctly, so you have to kind of hit them a little weird, a little sideways. You're seeing RockChalk have a lot of trouble there. And then the game developers were just a jerk and spawned the star directly over the Typhoon with lag.
It causes so much lag too.
Yeah. Thanks, Miyamoto.
Alright, so Wilko, comfy rear stub coming out. RockChalk meanwhile in Fire Sea. He's got the nice cam set up for the start. So nice movement so far towards Lava Boost. Alright, long jump. Wall kick is good.
Really, we've seen anything and everything happen in Fire Sea. Such a small mistake can absolutely change the course of the run.
Yep, it's just such an unforgiving stage with how much time you lose from the littlest thing.
Is he gonna...
Oh,
he just got lava boost. Well done.
He had a little more leeway than you might think because Mario will kind of clip up a little bit onto a platform that like he gets to just a little bit too low. And that honestly was what I thought was about to happen with that.
Wilko with a great manta ray, having a little trouble grabbing his star, but he's got it now. Really not
a little less of
difference
his body of Fire Sea behind.
Although Fire Sea is not a huge time use, but just because so much can go wrong in this level, he's got to be absolutely perfect just to stay within 30 seconds.
Yep.
RockChalk's gonna finish off the second Bowser here.
Right, nice
And
throw.
we're headed upstairs.
Wilko making some decent progress towards Lava Boost. Let's see if he's able to match what RockChalk pulled out here.
I don't know if he's gonna get it. Oh, and he just barely gets it. Well done. 2 for 2 in the Lava Boost.
All right, so now, nice little backup there. Was trying to side flip onto the pole, but when that didn't give him enough height, he just double jumped almost immediately. Okay, so now RockChalk heading on into Wet Dry World. Going on in for 100 coin as Wilko just finishes up the Bowser fight real quick.
And I mean, both players doing exactly what they needed to do in Fire City. Both getting the Lava Boost, both having virtually flawless runs, as RockChalk just misses a blue coin switch.
It's so easy to mishit a blue coin switch in this game. You would not believe.
I mean, we made lengthy comments earlier tonight about depth perception in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, my depth perception isn't great to start with, so...
I've seen weird stuff like I ground pound on like the edge of one of those switches where part of my shadow ends up being on it for some frames and then my shadow isn't on it for others, and the ground pound still gets registered somehow. Like there's weird stuff like that happens decently regularly.
Well, RockChalk having a really good 100.
Yep. Let's see what the ending looks like here. But yeah, Wilko is joining in Wet Dry World and hopefully ready to play some ball.
Let's see if he will also start with 100.
It's a pretty natural starting place for this stage, I find. And a nice double box break there. No double coming out from Wilko. Like I said last race, like it only saves time if you get a good RNG pattern on the sprays.
He will pick up that extra coin.
So he does still have his safety, which is nice.
There's a built-in extra coin to this run, so if you miss one, you're still good.
All right. RockChalk with the triple real quick. And a nice awning kick there. All right, good deal, RockChalk. Now Wilko finishing up 100 coin, but RockChalk just a couple stars away.
And there you go, Wilko just burns his safety, but he should be good from here on out.
Yeah, especially like if he has to do like a safe chuck it throw here, due to how he grabbed it. Like you got to move the thing anyway.
Getting some lag actually.
Yeah, the top of the town does have a tendency to lag.
Speaking of which, RockChalk is going for top of the town. Pretty solid. As he maintains almost exactly a 2-star lead here in Wet Dry World.
Yep, so one more left for RockChalk, a few more left for Wilko after that 100 coin.
What are the Vegas odds on this match? I know the casinos are a little desperate, but unfortunately we do not have betting, or perhaps fortune, depending on how you view it. Somebody actually did unironically ask that in our Discord server a couple days ago.
Now Wilko failing the wall kick there, his angle wasn't quite right there. You have to get like a very particular angle that's just on the verge of not working for a wall kick. And it can definitely be challenging. Yeah, Wilko's just going to take the backup movement here. One little piece of tech there that's kind of interesting is like when you touch the ground after a single jump, there are a few frames.
I think he missed the platform. He's going to have to go back
no. Yeah, he definitely did if he's not breaking the cork box yet. That's surprisingly easy to happen just because like you have enough speed coming off of the staircase like side flip dive that it's easy if you're not careful to like have so much speed coming. Yeah, he's just gonna like take this backup movement here, and he was smart there. If he would, he might miss the platform. He's got to hurry. Oh yeah, he'll be fine. Like with a few wall kicks here, he'll be able to get back on top.
There we go.
I'm just gonna take some casual movement here. So while he's riding up, What was I about to say? Jeez.
You were mentioning an interesting bit of tech as he was doing
Oh,
that.
yeah. So the triple jump he was trying to do to get a wall kick to land on top of the wooden platforms, when you land from a single jump, there's a few frames that like you can press A to activate a double jump. You don't have to hit it like first frame you hit the ground. And during that like few frame window, you can actually slightly change Mario's facing angle before the double jump. So like you're facing like at a direct diagonal when you start your single jump, but then when you like get to your double jump, you purposely delay it just a little bit so you turn a tiny bit to the right, which makes sure that you're able to wall kick. And you see that tech show up elsewhere, like in Rainbow Ride, for instance, on Lakitu Bounce, that same tech appears. For your double jump, again, you want to delay it just to change the angle just a little bit. And you do see it like mainly in cases where there's a rotating platform involved because the difference is more pronounced there. But even without a rotating platform, you still see it sometimes.
P.S. Fantastic. Those odds don't work because that's still leaving like 25% on the table. So the casino would take a big hit on that one, regardless of who wins. Math major.
Nice. Counting cards. How often do you get asked if you're like that guy from 21 or some dumb question like that?
I have not actually been asked that, perhaps because I'm not really using my math degree. I did briefly work at a casino, actually.
Oh, okay. Because like obviously, like there's people in the medical field that when people will find out, they're like, "Oh, can you check about this health issue with me?" And it's like, I'm not a general doctor or anything.
That's why I don't work in computers, because I don't want to have to fix people's computers until I die.
Oh.
Wilko having some problems with secrets here. No, I just bust glasses, and then they told me to clean ashtrays, and then I quit. It lasted like 6 weeks.
Gotcha.
The people win, says Fantastic, and that's why you will never be a casino owner.
All right, so Wilko's got his itty bitty secrets now, but RockChalk dealing with some TTM type troubles.
RockChalk
doing pretty well on the stage so far.
Definitely the Vegas favorite at this point, if there was one.
Right, RockChalk now heading to the top of the mountain.
Solid movement. Looks like Wilko got the clip as well.
Nice.
Sick ref.
All right, so Red's coming out from RockChalk here.
We've... Oh, wait a minute. Now he's gonna go for
Breezeless here.
Breezeless.
It looks not quite high enough, just a little bit too low.
That's such a tricky strat, but thankfully it only loses about a second if you miss. Well, I guess you have to do breeze then, so I guess it does lose a little bit of time.
Yeah, it's like 2 seconds or so that you additionally lose from failing it. It's a grand spread of 4 seconds. If you get it right, you save 2 over the standard strat. If you get it wrong, you lose at least 2.
I see.
So it's a very rare example of a high risk, low reward strat that like the risk is just that you'll probably fail it rather than you're gonna lose a bunch of time if you happen to fail it.
Now RockChalk on a very good TTM Reds here. Let's see if he gets that star grab. I think he will. Yes, nice. He will. RockChalk is on a roll, opening up a 4-star lead.
Yeah. Like, he's got 47 stars. Wilko's 4 down in a stage that has some decently long and especially, like, decently hard stars. I don't know why he's taking that long pause there.
Is he done?
I think there's something weird going on. Let's see if he's saying anything in the back.
He hasn't sent us any messages, and he's continuing his run, so I don't know what that was about. Maybe he's...
Yeah, there are a lot of things that could have potentially happened, like, on like the worst case scenario, there are times that like potentially like a controller failure could happen or like just something else weird. A lot of runners will use like an extension cable to switch easily between their main controller and a Hori for Bowser throws. So like there's no telling what exactly happened. Could have easily been something IRL, like someone needing to talk to him, something like there's no telling until like we're able to ask him after the race.
RockChalk having to do a backup here on Snowman's head, but he's got it. Wilko gonna grab that top of the mountain star, just barely gets over that fence.
Nice.
Wilko plugged in a robotic controller TAS. Wilko
Taskbot?
secretly plugging in Taskbot for that star.
Yeah. And now some roll from the freezing pond action from RockChalk. A really nice speed kick.
Misses
a little bit
the
too
ground
high.
pound though? No, that's okay.
All right, 2 more from Wilko and he'll be done with TTM. But 2 more from RockChalk and he'll be done with SL.
Getting some nice reminder information in case he hasn't gotten 50 stars. Just reminding him, hey, you can go into the 50-star door now. In case he would want to do that. Of course he doesn't because he has a plan. And Shigeru Miyamoto in 1996 did not prepare for this.
What's really neat to me is there are enough stars like throughout lobby and all that you can actually get, I think it's like 73 or 74 stars without ever touching the upstairs section at all.
Wow.
Before you even get the second key, you can get like 73 or 74 stars. And so, like, that'd be a really neat run to see is like 70 stars, no upstairs. Because, like, there's a few stars that you would have the leeway to actually skip out on. Like, you'd probably end up skipping Vanish Cap and by extension, one of the DVD stars that requires it. It'd just be a really interesting category, seeing as how, like, there's a decent amount of slow things in the basement as well and in the lobby.
Wow. I'll follow up on that comment in a second, but Wilko has just mentioned, quote, my game is randomly pausing on its own, unquote. So,
oh, wow.
Not only is the internet revolting against him, and obviously he just bonked there, but now Wilko's own cartridge revolting against him.
Yeah. And that could be an input issue. Like, I'm going to go ahead and say before I start this tangent that I've never heard of anyone else having this issue, but I've had this issue. So maybe it's happening to Wilko somehow. I have this condition called hyperhidrosis where my hands sweat excessively, and I've actually drowned multiple controllers, like where the controller starts having phantom inputs. I hit the A button and it hits like C down or C left at the same time. And so I have to like take the controller apart, dry everything off. And so there's a chance that if Wilko has like some type of hand sweating situation, that maybe some water got into the controller and is causing the start button to be pressed along with something else randomly. Like it's something that is it doesn't happen like overnight. It'd have to be like he's had his hands sweat for a long period of time and hasn't cleaned out his controller, which is probably unlikely, but that is a possibility. That's something that could happen. Like I said, that type of mechanical failure, whenever I've said that in front of like Cheese and he looked at me like I said the strangest thing he's heard in his life. So I don't know if like maybe that's never happened to anyone else, but
like gloves or some chalk maybe.
Yeah, I started using like an antiperspirant and that has helped a lot, but yeah. Well, we'll just have to see. Wilko is continuing on. I haven't seen any more phantom pauses, so RockChalk does have his stream back up now, just having various internet issues. Fair enough. It's fairly common. I think a lot of people like haven't had it diagnosed. I didn't even know it was a thing until I was in my 20s, even though I've dealt with the symptoms of it all my life. But it's a minor enough issue that I think a lot of people probably just don't have it actually diagnosed.
So I come from the Ninja Warrior world. Long story. I'm gonna keep it short. But a lot of people are there because like you have to grab a lot of things and just hang off of vertical grips and all kinds of different grips, and keeping your hands dry is super important. So most people employ quite a bit of chalk to try to dry their hands out, especially if you have sweaty palms, which a lot of people do have.
Yeah, it's a very common thing in the climbing world as well, especially.
Exactly, yeah.
Just because it gives you so much better grip and tensile strength.
Yeah. Ninja and climbing kind of go hand in hand.
And I will say too, like, I have had just weird one-off issues with my input display before, which is what I use to like switch controllers easily. Like there have been times where like it will accept button inputs but not stick inputs, and I unplug and turn everything off and turn it back on and it suddenly works just fine. So it could be one of those weird situations too. Like there's a little bit of like, I don't want to say aftermarket equipment because of what that implies, but it's like if Wilko's using something like an input display or like an extension cable to switch controllers, there could be a very slight like bug in that's taking form that wouldn't normally.
Yeah, and he has mentioned that it might be a controller switcher issue, so maybe he's one of the players that switches controllers for Bowser throws.
Oh yeah, nearly every player will switch controllers unless they're already using something like a Hori or a GameCube controller, because Bowser throws will wear out a stick very quickly.
Yeah,
And like
sure.
honestly, even with a steel stick, like trying to spin very quickly can be a bit uncomfortable. I see a lot of people that use a steel stick, they'll actually use their palm to spin, just because using your thumb on an N64 stick to spin is kind of awkward.
Wow, nice glitchy wall kick by RockChalk.
Yeah, that.
And then taking a death to Lakitu.
He's just not quite going out far enough to be able to get the bounce there. That glitchy wall kick is a super power move strat. Yeah, no, that's super fair, Fairy. There are definitely ways around it. It's just you have to discover that it's a problem first and be willing to deal with like some of the side effects of those ways. RockChalk falling off there, so even though like he landed on the platform, part of the difficulty in like being able to maintain and like go up that platform is Mario has to be sliding down for at least 4 frames before a jump will register. So you have to get some decent distance up on that wooden plank before like you're able to make sure you can jump on the slide down.
In any event, he does get the reds and the maze as a backup. It's like Wilko's headed for Rolling Rocks here.
Yeah, and so now RockChalk with just 3 stars left in Rainbow Ride is Wilko trying to catch up, just 2 stars left in HMC. I found the best luck with antiperspirants, and as I think a number of other runners have. I've talked with other runners that don't actually have like hyperhidrosis, but still have some issues with sweating, and like they've used the same antiperspirant that I do to great success. Like it's very unobtrusive. You just have to wait for it to dry before you actually start doing runs and stuff, and it definitely cuts it down to a much more manageable level.
I think we just missed Wilko getting Christmas Miracle. I wasn't totally paying attention.
Oh, nice. It's a nice little like extra benefit. It does save like a fair amount of time, like 2-3 seconds.
And especially if you don't get the backup on the first try, which I know I usually don't get the backup on the first try. It does save quite a bit of time.
Yeah, I find that for the backup, your inputs need to be snappy. Like you don't want to hold back on the stick at all before you kick the wall, and like you have to make sure that the wall kick is at the highest point possible. So it's just like you have to make sure that you're doing the inputs precisely for that to work.
RockChalk just checking the structural integrity of some of those tricky triangles.
All right, so now Wilko on his way up to Rainbow Ride himself. RockChalk with 1 last star, swinging in some breeze. He's got the ledge grab and all. Let's see the ending here. Nicely done.
Beautiful. Getting the regular strat as he now leads Wilko by the entirety of Rainbow Ride. But again, TikTok Clock is one of the finickiest levels in the game, and we've mentioned so many times that leads go to die in Bowser in the Sky. Unintentional rhyme, feel me. And RockChalk was having trouble, I think, deciding what he wanted to do there, but now he's going to go for reds.
It's definitely understandable. Like, it kind of lets you get acclimated to the stage before having to do some of the much harder stars in it. So, it's a smart decision here. Let's see what he decides to do next.
I wonder if he was pausing so much because he's maybe like intending to do hundreds and stomp on the thwomp, and then just got bad movement and changed his mind because he's looking to stop the clock again.
Yeah, that is a thing that can happen. Like you're not thinking too well and you start doing the intro movement for a different star instead. I think that was more so though just his position was awkward and he wanted to stop to think about how exactly to approach the reds from there on. Because he did use kind of an unconventional bit of movement after that. So I think he was just kind of thinking through the backup he needed.
Yes.
Triple jump needing the ledge grab there, but that's still way better than having to take the yellow block back up. The amp grabbing him, but not a huge deal.
Yeah, it definitely seems suboptimal.
I believe RockChalk is on potentially 49 pace, but I'm not completely sure. I think 49 pace for sure, though.
Definitely be nice to see him pull out a 49 to finish off the night.
That's like with a perfect TTC in bits, though, I believe. It might be like a 50 pace with that type stuff. It's good, though, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Wilko trying for left side tricky triangles and instead just taking the long jump to nowhere. RockChalk missing a coin, but luckily able to scramble it up pretty nicely.
Yeah, I think at this point in the match, it doesn't really matter if you make these kind of half-second, 1-second mistakes. But you don't want to make the big mistakes, like, falling off of a level.
Now, RockChalk just got pretty lucky there. Like, the thwomp has some RNG to, like, when exactly it rises and falls. And RockChalk just wall kicked off, like, the very bottom of the wall on that thwomp. Like, that was really impressive. Frank trying to mess around with his owner during the middle of time-moving triple jump wall kicks. RockChalk should get a 5-second bonus just because of being able to do that strat with a dog trying to lick him. Come on. That's just disgusting. And then that nice backup there from missing the wall kick he wanted.
See, I think the bonus was the dog licking him.
All right, 66 stars. Remember, he does have Toad after, so just 3 stars left before he can go up to Tippy.
And let's see if Wilko will get early Toad or late Toad. He'll go for late Toad. Getting right in on time on the frozen clock. And he's going to start off with hundreds. As Chalk gets the uppermost cage star.
A nice roll into the cage. Get a hand coming out in just a moment, I'm sure. Wilko with some kind of interesting movement, but kind of feeling himself a little bit better now. Getting to the blue coin switch. As RockChalk heads on over to get a hand. And with that, just some time stop star. Actually, it's just going to be time jumps on moving bars. And they'll be moving on into bits.
Looking like RockChalk will be chalking himself up in the playoff bracket. Obviously, his beloved Kansas Jayhawks, I assume by the username in the Discord profile picture. Wow, he's actually missed it. Wilko just missed a coin there. He'll have to go find a backup.
Yeah, this backup box is a little bit awkward to get because of just how awkward all the movement is at this top part of TTC.
Right, and you can just see there he takes a fall.
Oh,
Thankfully, he doesn't fall too far down. So has to regain his bearings. But obviously, Kansas didn't have a chance to participate in March Madness this year. They would have almost certainly been the #1 overall seed. And Wilko, stay on the level. Stay on the level. Oh no, there's the heave ho. Oh, and he's dead. Oh no.
That is
devastating.
Frustrating. Man. Poor Wilko, man. Poor Wilko.
8 moving on. Fantastic. Unfortunately, Wilko, I think, is in 9th in the standings right now with a week to go. And he's almost certainly after... I mean, obviously, this match isn't over yet, but... almost certainly if RockChalk finishes out here with a clean bits, then I don't think Wilko's going to get any points for getting within 5 minutes, and that means that next week he's going to have to win and get a lot of help to get into the playoffs.
Yeah. And RockChalk is just going to put himself in a really nice position to make himself into playoffs. Really nice execution throughout bits. 49 still definitely on the table with a good Bowser fight especially. It's gonna be nice to see this like low to mid 50 coming out from him.
He's
in the final pipe here.
He takes the safe approach. I don't blame him. Look a little shaky up on that top platform.
All right, so let's go ahead and see the first nice 2-spin throw to start here. Let's see what his second throw looks like here. Nice high flip dive. And the second throw, another 2-spin, and nicely done.
Can he finish off the 3 for 3?
Let's see, and it's good. Nice.
Got it. And he's going to get a low 50, a fantastic
51x. Nice. All right, GG's to RockChalk here. Really nice finish to this run.
I mean, solid execution throughout, only a couple very tiny mistakes. And that's exactly what you got to do to put up a great time in 70 star.
All right, well, GG's to RockChalk here, 50-16.
I think Wilko's taking a look at the computer, realizing RockChalk is done. He is going to finish out the run, it appears.
Yeah, he is fairly close to the end, just a few more stars left in TTC.
Yep, finishing up for Pride at this point. Obviously, the way the tiebreaker system works, I don't want to fully explain because I'm on a level that I don't totally understand it. So, you get tiebreaker points based on how close you finish to the runner ahead of you. Wilko obviously needs those tiebreaker points, but he has to finish within 5 minutes of RockChalk in order to get those tiebreaker points. So that means he'd have to finish in 55:16, and you would know better than I would if he's still capable of doing that. I think he should be fine. He hasn't got the Toad Star yet, so now he only needs 3 more in TikTok clock, and he's already done 100. So I think he should be on like 53, 54 pace, maybe.
Yeah. So still pretty decent pace. Fairly certain it's going to be a little bit outside that 5-minute window, but it could definitely be a little inside. So we'll have to see here.
We'll see how the execution is down the stretch. Obviously, RockChalk going to take a moment to enjoy the credits, just in case, you know, by some chance he hasn't seen them, but I think he would much rather spend the time with his beloved, very good doggo.
All right, so a couple more stars left for Wilko in the stage, and then talking to Toad real quick. So some time stop movement going on. First time jumps and then reds.
In both cases, the clock will be stopped, so that eliminates a lot of the variability.
Yeah, there's still some difficulty involved. That yellow block triple jump that Wilko had to do about midway through can be very finicky. That's one you have to put a lot of time into, both like memorizing where you need to start your triple at and like memorizing the exact movement. A lot of people, to make it easier, you'll actually like flick the stick into neutral right after you get the triple jump. It's the same type of concept as the triple box jump in HMC. You want to reduce your horizontal momentum while you're still gaining height to make sure you get as high of a wall kick as possible. And so Wilko now on reds missed his opportunity to get the triple jump there, but it doesn't save that much time, so he's still pretty fine.
And he's right there on the star.
Nicely done.
So just Toad and Bits to go. He's going to have to hustle if he wants to get within 5 minutes.
Yeah, it might not really be in the cards, but it's still like definitely an admirable effort and a pretty decent run from both players, all things considered. Just mistakes that were somewhat out of the players' control for a little bit of moments here and there.
Yeah, I mean, Kaitri just mentioned that there are 583 runs on this leaderboard. I actually went to go look up these players' PBs and took a side route to see where Jacob Cannon was. I remember getting laughed off the forums in 2008 for saying that 103 was very beatable in this category, and he's currently sitting in 411th. So take that, forum kids from 2008.
It's always right to be right years later.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of lost the way around like 2009, 2010. I come back in like 2016 and people are running 70 star at like 49 pace. I'm like, what in the world? Yes, I was right.
There's been a ton of optimization, especially I think a lot of it too has come from people grinding a lot of single star and forming a very in-depth understanding of how the mechanics work in this game. Nice standing left side from Wilko.
I don't think he's gonna get within that 5-minute time barrier, but it's gonna be close.
Yeah, I think if you got like a perfect Bowser fight, it might be possible, but I think it's just outside the realm of possibility. It's only like 1 point if he is inside that range. Yeah, it looks just outside. But still like a nice effort, and shout outs to Wilko for actually finishing this run.
Yeah, finishing off for Pride, always nice. And he's gonna miss a Bowser throw. So that definitively closes the book. Obviously, again, Wilko finishing out for Pride. And I mean, Wilko has had a pretty solid run. Yes, there were some mistakes, but like, I believe he got pillarless pretty easily. Just like...
He was actually down whenever he was doing that, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. But like, otherwise, I mean, one missed Bowser throw, he just died a couple times, and unfortunately he died really late. Like, he died with 92 coins in TikTok clock, and that cost him several minutes. And ultimately, that's going to be the story of the night for Wilko.
So, all right, now we got Wilko in the booth after finishing. How are you feeling after that run?
I don't know. It's more fun if there's no technical issues. Like RockChalk had also some connection issues. And then
Yeah, that's never fun. And like I've dealt with controller issues like phantom inputs and stuff before, and it do you feel like it kind of gets into your head a bit? Like you're afraid it's going to happen at like all kinds of random points?
I wasn't until now. Like it happened for the first time yesterday. I know it happened to Liam once. It broke the record. I think it's my controller switcher. Like suddenly my game paused and I was pressing button, nothing happened. So I had to like pull out the controller and then put it back in again. Like at that moment, I didn't really know what to do. It just happened.
Jeez. Now, I think your stream like actually like cut out like while you're in SSL. Like, can you walk us through like kind of some of the like major points of the run?
Yeah. Well, SSR was my only good level, but unfortunately nobody saw that.
I mean, it's a tough level, so props that was your best level.
Yeah, I got Pillars first try and a good Talon and Pyramid.
Now, RockChalk, congrats on the win. Like, what are your thoughts on how the run went?
Thanks. Overall, I think pretty good, especially that first half, like through Fire Sea. I really only had 2 mistakes. The problem was that they were like each cost a calendar year, so that was kind of frustrating. But I usually kind of unravel stupid mistakes like that. I thought I did okay holding it together. But yeah, this is the first race where I've been able to I've been playing Mario this week, so I had this season, and I'm pretty happy with it.
All right, so like there's a little bit of cutting out, but like I understand like you were able to like put more practice time in since your schedule was a little more free, and
Right,
you think that definitely kind of made a benefit. So that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
RockChalk, I'm sorry. I cut somebody off.
I was just confirming.
Well, RockChalk, I know obviously I'm gonna guess you're a big Jayhawks fan based on your username, and unfortunately we won't get to see you guys in March Madness. But if my math is correct, I believe you've clinched a playoff spot tonight. So congratulations on that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, thanks. I didn't know that. That's a small consolation.
So do you feel like you'll be able to like continue putting some grind time in before the playoff end up starting like after next week, or like do you think it's
I should. So I was studying for boards the whole time, which is why I haven't been able to play, but those are TBD now, postponed indefinitely. So I have a lot of free time. So yeah, I'll continue playing. So hopefully, yeah, I can make some noise. We'll see.
It'll definitely be nice to see. And like Wilko, shout outs again for like finishing this run. I know like towards the end, especially with the controller issues, it must have been kind of hard. So
yeah, I mean that pause that only lost me 10 seconds. The rest was just bad gameplay by me, so I played badly. But it's also like a problem if you have to like constantly check if your internet is going. RockChalk probably had the same issue.
Yeah, it looks like both of you guys dipped in and out throughout the run.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because I was streaming right before the race for like 2 hours and I had no issues at all, and then it suddenly started.
Yeah, I've streamed every day this week and it didn't happen once. Go figure. It was like 4 times this race.
Yeah, it might have been some Twitch issue. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's always at the worst possible time, right?
Yeah, Twitch is just finicky at the worst times. I got reminded by someone in chat to ask this. RockChalk, was that time moving triple jump in TTC kind of hard whenever Frank was like trying to ask for pets? It looked like.
I've gotten pretty used to it. He just does it whenever. So I'm pretty okay just tuning him out. He does seem to pick the worst times though.
You seem pretty unfazed by it, which I was amazed by. Like a trick like that, I would have figured you'd need all the focus on the timing.
Yeah. No, it just happens all the time. I guess I've gotten used to it.
Well, GG's to both of our runners. Is there anything else y'all wanted to throw out there for our chat? Starting with Wilko, I guess.
Not much. Like next week, I guess I have to play against Puncation next week. Hopefully, I can show a good run. I don't know. Last week against Cheese, I actually played really well for the first half, so maybe I can clutch something out against Punke. We'll see.
I could definitely see it, and I'm definitely looking forward to that race. RockChalk, what about you? Like, what kind of prep work and such do you think you'll be doing moving into the future playoffs and such?
I don't know. I'll be playing Mario a lot. I don't know. I probably won't focus on 70 very much, But 120 is pretty good practice for 70, so I'll do that and just see how it goes. But yeah, looking forward to the playoffs, actually having some time to prepare, and hopefully it goes okay.
Well, good stuff. GG's to both of our runners. And that will be it for our race portion of today. We will have some speedrun variety content for the rest of the night. Then, of course, Task Tuesdays starting tomorrow. If you want to see some more of our racing action, we do have Mario Maker races live coming up on Thursday for our Expert Mode League. And if you want to see more Mario 64, we'll be starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard next week on Monday with Cheese versus D Whatever, a huge matchup of two record holders, one former, one current. So definitely don't miss that. But for now, I've been joined in the booth for these past few races by I Am Not Cola, and it's been a pleasure co-commenting with you, man.
Thank you. I appreciate having the A commentator indoctrinating me into the SM64 commentating world. So much appreciated. I know I definitely learned a lot. I hope you guys at home did as well.
Always glad to hear it. And a quick reminder for everyone that all of the runners and many of the commentators that you saw today do stream. So if you like the gameplay that you saw or any of the commentary you heard, be sure to give all of us a follow. We all definitely appreciate it.
I don't really stream that much. You don't have to follow me. Milo spelled my name wrong anyway, so.
And be sure to give the GSA channel a follow for all kinds of speedrun action. We're the only channel on Twitch with 24/7 speedrun action. So be sure to check out our YouTube channels as well and our socials, ! YouTube, ! Schedule for all of our events. And finally, we were glad to have you for the night. We hope to see you sometime soon. But if not, take care, guys. We'll see you later on this week with more live content.
GG's
out.
to
Have
all
a
the
good night.
runners, and thanks for joining us. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, guys.
No, GG, good night.
See ya.
They are synced.
They are synced now. Do whatever! In the lead again.
Wow. Side for sure from Cheese. Okay, doing it moving. Oh no, the Cheese falls!